Good evening, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. As this awesome event comes to its completion, you, as an audience, have experienced diverse new topics in the field of computer vision. Today, the speakers have something interesting and practical planned for you all. The topics that will be covered are important in the modern world, from face detection to how to detect drowsiness on a driver's face, and the implications are far reaching.
So it's now time to learn some new and interesting concepts today. We have our speakers for today, Vanshika Sabhani and Anish Anand from second year, Rituraj Nambiar from first year, and our editors Sona Bagga from first year and Janvi Singh from second year. Over to you, speakers.
Yeah. So hi guys, this is Vanshika, member of technical team of AI Club and the speaker of today's session. Today we are going to talk about one of the important topics of computer vision, also which has a very wide range of applications, that is face detection. So let's start without any further delay. You can put your doubts in the chat section. We'll take them after completing one subtopic, or in the end, we'll manage how it goes. So let's not go into the depth of face detection first. Let me build some good amount of motivation for you to study this topic. Let's take a general viewpoint first. Did you ever guess how face unlock feature of your phone works? I know that's a very fundamental question that every one of you can answer. But do you know the working process behind it? Unlocking your phone in just microseconds by showing your face sounds very cool. But the process behind face unlock is a bit complex. If you know the answer, then that's great. But if you don't know, we are here to reveal the secrets. And at the end of the session, you will be able to build your own face detector. So, it is the facial recognition technology that is capable of verifying or identifying a person by using a digital image. What do you do to set up a face unlock feature in your phone? You just go to settings, then face unlock option, then the camera of your phone stores your facial data. And then whenever you try to unlock the device, the data which is stored in the memory has to be a perfect match with the data that you are currently sending right now through your face unlocking attempt. When it gets matched, your device unlocks smoothly and lets you in, or else sends you an error message. So this is what? This is detecting a face, storing it, and then recognizing if there's in the database or not. So that's the entire story behind this, which sounds quite easy now and interesting as well, right? I hope you will enjoy this topic. So let's dive into the face detection now. As before facial recognition, you need to learn how to detect a face first. Initially, we'll see some theory part, and right after that, we'll switch to the coding part. I know you're waiting for the coding part, but theory is equally important, which actually can't be skipped. So, facial recognition technology is used to find and identify human faces in digital images. It detects only the facial data and ignores everything else apart from a face. As you can see in the second image as well, the system has detected only the face of the girl and has ignored everything else. You can see that the system has ignored the trees behind, the buildings, the ground, etc. It has detected only the face of the girl. As you can see in this GIF as well, it detects the face, checks in the database, and then if it's a match, then bingo. This is the same thing that I just now explained. Face detection algorithms particularly focus on the detection of frontal human faces. This is what I explained just now. The entire workflow of facial recognition is given here. The image of a person is matched bit by bit. And if it's a match, then it's a success. Otherwise, the system invalidates the process. Now over to Anish Anand for
Hey guys, this is Anish. How are you all? I hope you are enjoying the session. In this session, we will cover a lot of things. But for those projects, we believe that our basic standard must be clear. I want all of you to put some attention here. Vanshika already told you about some basic concept. I hope things are pretty clear to you. If not, then please write in the chat box. We will clear your doubts. All right. So starting with the classifiers. Look, classifiers are nothing but an algorithm which classify things. My teacher from high school used to say everything in this world would be more better if you keep things simple. If you will Google the definition of classifier in OpenCV, it will just say the computed definition. But I want you to know classifiers are nothing, just an approach to classify things. That's it. I repeat, classifiers are nothing, just an algorithm to classify things. Now you will ask why we need to classify things here? To detect objects. Just three golden words. To detect objects. Look, for machine, everything is an object. चाहे वो तुम हो या मैं हूँ, everything is an object for machine, right? So machine only knows objects. So to detect object, it uses classifier. But the work of classifier is to read the data set. You know what is data set? Data set are the sets of, we can say, sets of data which is implemented in our model so machine could learn easily. So classifiers detect object or they extract object from given data set. Now there are two basic steps of classifier, and that is the training and the detection stage. Okay, taking an example from your childhood, just imagine given a chance to be born again, and luckily or unluckily, you supposed to be human. Okay, and suppose someone gave me the responsibility to train you. I know I'm so stupid that I will knowingly train you in wrong way. I will introduce an apple and say no, it's a banana. Then what happened? You are innocent. You will consider all apples as bananas. I'm training in a wrong way. So of course you will achieve proficiency in misconception and you will detect everything false. So here we are defining classifiers in detail because in face detection, almost 90% job is to be performed by the classifiers. Face detection is performed by using classifiers. There are two types of faces which classifier detect. One is we call positive face and the other is called the negative faces. By name it's pretty clear, I guess. Like those objects which contain faces are called positive faces and those which do not contain any face are called negative faces. Okay. So here a question for you. What machine only detects human face, like real human, or will it also detect some what Annabelle doll? Will it detect the Annabelle the doll? Please write in comment section, guys. I want to know your response. Oh, chat box is not visible to me. All right. Yeah, it is visible. Okay. Magical function that used in the previous class. Okay, okay, we will use that. We will explain that later. First, tell me that the Annabelle doll will it what? Will it detect as a face or not? Any guesses, guys? Please write in comment section.
No matter right or wrong, you can put in the chat.
Yeah, face probably. Okay. All right, all right.
Anyone else? What about Annabelle doll? Will the system detect or
What
not?
people are saying, when I take the name of Annabelle, तो सब डर रहे हो क्या? I'm extremely
Okay,
sorry
that's
to
the
all
issue.
this, but that's the issue. Okay, we can change our example. Maybe it can detect. Okay, probably it can detect. All right. Okay, so many response I can see flooding here. All right, all right. Yeah. So guys, the answer is it depends on your data set. That how you just change your data set. It entirely depends on your data set. How pure your data set is, how much attributes it is using. Okay. You must be aware of the example when the an AI camera, he just what AI camera has recognized a bald person as a football. So it depends on the data set, how pure your data set is. Right. Okay, next slide, please, Rituraj. Okay, moving ahead, talking about the existing classifier. You can see here, OpenCV has already two pre-trained face detection classifier. Okay, back to 2001 when Viola and Jones, these are two scientists, proposed the first ever object detection framework for real-time face detection in video footage. At that time, only the idea of these two classifiers emerged. One is HAR classifier and the other is LBP classifier. It is trivial problem for humans to solve and has been solved reasonably well by classical feature-based techniques such as cascade classifier. More recently, deep learning methods have achieved state-of-the-art result on standard benchmark face detection dataset. One example is multitask cascade convolutional network. You might be aware, in short, you can say MTCNN for short. Now, Vanshika will explain more about these two classifiers. Over to Vanshika.
Okay, so in this session, we are going to use HAR classifiers for the face detection and the project. Okay, so HAR cascade is basically object detection algorithm which used to find objects in an image or a video. What's done here there's a cascade function which is trained with a set of input data, and then it is used to detect objects in the images. Here our object is a face. So this is a very good image to explain the process. Please pay attention. Now what the algorithm do is it creates a cascade classifier which contains the features of the face. Now one very good thing that we studied in the last slide as well, OpenCV already has this classifier pre-trained. So we don't have to train it. We just need to call it in our program and the classifier is ready with us. Okay, so we are ready with the classifier. Now we need the image. The OpenCV reads the image and provide this image to the classifier. Then the classifier search for a face in the image, and wherever and as many images it finds, it returns a list of coordinates. I repeat, that's a bit complex. Please pay attention. We provide our input image to the classifier, and then the classifier searches for a face in the image, and wherever in the image it finds a face, it returns the coordinates of the location where it finds a face. It actually returns four values, which are x, y, w, and h. Xy is your xy coordinate, w is the width, and h is the height. We'll take this again while code this. I'll take a image and will plot these coordinates, which will be easy for you to understand. So at this step, we have the coordinates now ready with us. Now, what we will do, we'll put a rectangle around the detected face in the input image that we have provided. Now we have the coordinates ready with us. Now, can you please put in the chat box how we will draw a rectangle around the face? We have the coordinate, which function we are going to use. You are very much familiar with the function. We have discussed this in the previous sessions. You can put in the chat
Yes.
box. Let's see how much you remember.
This is for all those who have attended the previous session.
Yeah, I have the coordinates with me. I need to draw the rectangle. What function I will use? Somebody replied CV2.rectangle. Yes, that's perfect. See, it was CV2.put rectangle. Okay, that's great. That it seems that you are paying attention over all the sections. Okay, so we have the coordinates with us. We will use the CV2.put rectangle function to draw the rectangle the detect face. Pretty simple, right? That's the entire workflow of the face detection that we are gonna implement. Next slide, please. Now, OpenCV already contains many pre-trained classifiers, not only for faces, but also for eyes, smiles, etc. These all are pre-trained and come in the form of XML files and are located on the GitHub. The link for the same is provided in the slide. And if you want to know more about this algorithm, you can go to this link. Next, for the next slide, over to Rituraj for the applications part.
Very well explained, Vanshika. I guess you all are now familiar with classifiers and basics of face detections, of course, from the previous sessions. So you guys might ask about where actually these are used, like the face detection systems, other than the mobile phones, obviously, that you guys might be knowing. In a high school in China, facial detection is used to analyze the behavior of students and also to mark their attendance. Another classic example of AI taking over traditional methods. Uh, Another application of facial detections is drowsiness detection. In Tesla, the cabin-facing camera is not Elon Musk's plan of invading your privacy. It is for detecting the attention of driver. Tesla has not yet launched the full-fledged model. They are working on it. But once the model is launched, it would check in if your eyes are closed, open, looking to the left, looking to the right, wearing sunglasses, using phones, and many more classification parameters. Drowsiness detection identifies if the driver is drowsy while driving. If yes, the model will trigger an alarm to notify the driver. This is a very interesting project. Later in the session, Anish would walk through the hands-on of the same project. Okay, now the eye detection. The key factor of drowsiness detection, or as a matter of fact, any facial detection software is eye detection. It is a great application in psychology, medicine, marketing, engineering, and many more fields. Human eye have essential information that are used in auxiliary driving, medical diagnosis, and many more. Only the regions that reflect light, look like, and move like eye are tracked. Another example of eye detection is Tobii, an eye tracking device that tracks the movement of our eye for game interaction and streaming. While playing a game, the device syncs with your eye and moves your screen according to where you look. At the same time, the characters in the game respond to your gaze simultaneously. So these were about the application and bit introduction about eye detection. Now, Vanshika, would you show about the demonstration of face and eye detection?
Yeah, perfect. Let's switch to Jupyter Notebook, face and eye detection.
Just a
I know
second.
this was the part for which you were waiting for. That's going to be the most interesting, I guess. Till now, if you have any doubts, you can put in the chat box. We'll take them now and then we will move to the part. If you have about the algorithm, about the process, you can put in the chat box. If not, then we'll start. Okay, it seems there's no doubt. So, okay, we'll switch to the coding part. That's the most interesting part of this session. Okay, so we have studied about the algorithm. We'll now implement it. Now, for every code, we will import the libraries first. We are gonna import CV2 because without this, we can't go ahead. And I'm using Matplotlib because I have to work with coordinates. Let's see how it goes now. Now what I'll do, I'll provide an input image first. I have downloaded an image from the Google and have stored in the same directory as the Jupyter notebook on which I am working for. If you are not storing in the same directory, you need to provide the location over here. Otherwise, the name is fine along with the extension. So I need to read the image. For that, I will use imread function, for which all of you are pretty familiar. imread use only one parameter, which is the name of file or the location. As I have saved the file in the same directory as the Jupyter notebook, so I don't need to provide the location. I'll just provide the name along with the extension. So I am using imread function and I'm storing the image. I'm reading the image and storing it in a variable known as image image. I'll run the code. The image is read in this variable. Now to display the image, I will use plt.imshow function. Not using cv2.imshow because I have to work with coordinates. So the matplotlib would be much better. That's why I'm using plt.imshow image. And when I run the code, I see the Tony Stark, one of the favorite Avengers, right? Okay, but there's an issue. The Tony Stark has a blue tint in its face, right? Now, what is the problem? The problem is because OpenCV automatically processes the image in the BGR format, which are not in its true colors, right? So we need to display it into true colors. Now, what we will do, we will just convert that BGR image to the RGB image. What I'm doing, I need to convert my BGR image to the RGB image. Remember the function need for the conversion we have studied in the previous sessions. What's that function called? I need to convert an image from one format to another. What's the function for that? You can type in the chat box. I have the image in the BGR format. I need to convert it into my RGB format. How I'm going to do it? I need to use a function. What's the name of the function? Nobody's remembering. Okay, so no issues. That I'll tell. Okay,
Someone wrote
perfect.
now.
Yes. I got it now. Yes, that's perfect. That's your cv2.cvt color function. I need to convert my image from BGR to RGB. So I'll use cv2.cvt color function. It takes two parameters. One is the source image, the image on which you are working for. And the second parameter is the space conversion code, which means the format, like the format from which you are converting to the another format you want the image to be. Now I want the image to be from BGR to RGB. That's why I have written cv2.color_BGR to RGB. I will run the code, will print the image. Let's see. Okay, now the Tony Stark is in the true colors. Okay, but again, one more problem, the detection, the face detection. The classifier uses only the grayscale mode of images to actually detect the faces. So we need to convert this RGB format image to the grayscale format. Again, the same process, I am going to use CVT color function to convert my RGB image to the grayscale. The same format, the same function. I am just changing the space conversion mode. I run code and I see Tostar in the grayscale mode. Okay, so I have applied all the familiar functions with you. I guess there's no doubt till now. I have the image. I have the image in the grayscale format. Okay, so this cell is actually optional. This was just for fun. Actually implementing a function, that CVT color function again and again, then seeing the image was a bit boring. So what I did, we used the IPY widgets library of Python and have created a slider with it. Now what that slider do? Just one click on the slider, you convert any image or any format to another format. In the code, I have written from RGB to grayscale and vice versa. So what I'll do, I can just convert any image from any format to another format. Here, with just one click, I can convert the image of Tony Stark from the RGB mode to the grayscale mode. You can see the code and can play with it. This part is actually optional. You can leave it. The functions provided above are more than enough. Okay, so till this step, we have the input image ready with us. Now we want our classifier. The classifier is reloaded as OpenCV has reiterated. We need to just call in our code. Now how I'll do that? I need to download the classifier first. Now where the classifier is located, it is located in the GitHub. The link is provided in the PPT as well as in the Jupyter notebook as well. When I go through that link, I see a number of classifiers here, not only for faces but also for eyes, smiles, etc. You can actually explore it. Believe me guys, OpenCV library is very interesting. After this section as well, I really encourage you to explore it more. There's a lot to explore. There's no end. Okay, so I need the face classifier for this face detection. Now I'll use harcascade underscore funterface underscore default dot xml. I need this classifier. I need to download it. How I will do, I'll just click on this link. Okay, I need the raw version for it. I'll click on raw. Now to download, I will right click on my mouse and will click save as. Remember to save it in the same directory as Jupyter Notebook, because in that case, you need to provide only the name of the classifier along with the extension. If you are storing it in another directory, you need to provide the location same. Okay, so I have loaded the classifier. I'll load it using cv2.cascade classifier method, and I will save classifier in a new variable which is har cascade face. Okay, so till the point, what I have done, I have the input image, I have done processing over it, I have downloaded the classifier as well. Now what I'll do, now here comes the most important part of the code. I will provide the input image to the classifier. The classifier will search for a face in the image and will return its coordinates. Now why do I need the coordinates? Because I need to put a rectangle around the face. How I will detect it? I want the rectangle around my face to detect a face in the image, right? And to draw the rectangle, what will do? Have the function rectangle. It takes two coordinates, right? The start point and the end point. Now, how I'll get this start point and the end point? That's the big question. For that, I will use a very important function, which is detect multiscale function. What this function do? It takes three parameters: the source image, the scale factor, and the min neighbor. These are its three parameters, and the values are 1.2 and 6 respectively. These are actually the normal values which we regularly apply We can change it, we can tune according to the data that we are providing. Okay, so I have provided the image to the class, to the function. I have provided the values to other parameters as well. Now, what this function will return? This will return you the coordinates of the face. Okay, when I run this, when I run the variable faces underscore x, what it does? It returns you a list of list. Now, what is this? You can see there are 4 values, right? As explained in the PPT. The 4 values are what? Those 4 values are, first is your x, second is your y, third is your width, and fourth is your height. Now, I have plotted those points in this Tony Stark's image to understand it clearly. The first number, which is 106, is your x coordinate, and next 165 is your y coordinate. That means I have the like what I'll say, the first nearest point where it detects the face. This is your x and y. You can see where I have located x and y on the Tony Stark's image. Okay, it is this x and y 106 and 165. This is your start point of the rectangle. Next point is 404, which is your width, this w, and next again 404, which is your height. Now to get the rightmost coordinate, what I'll do, I'll just add the width to the xy coordinate, and I will get this rightmost coordinate, right? You can see where I'm hovering over x plus w. This is your rightmost coordinate. How I'll get it? I'll just add width to the x coordinate. Now to get this leftmost coordinate, below leftmost coordinate, I'll just add the height to the y coordinate. Now what I'll get? I'll get y plus h. Now for the end coordinate, I have the coordinates. Those are x plus w and y plus h. So bingo. In this way, I get the start points and the end points. Wasn't this function interesting? And without this function, you cannot perform your face detection because you won't get the coordinates to draw the face, right? And if you want to know the number of faces in the input image that we have provided, you can just use length of face rex, because face rex is just a list, and to know the number of lists we use just length function, right? You would have studied. When I run the code, I see faces found equal to 1. That means what? I have just one face in the image, which means the classifier is working properly till now. Okay, so till this step, I had the image, I had the classifier, I provided it to the classifier. Then I used the detect multi-scale function to know the coordinates of the face. I have calculated the endpoint and the starting point. Now what I'll do, I will just use cv2.rectangle function to draw the rectangle around the face. It takes 5 parameters. I studied the source image, the start point, the end point, the color of the rectangle, and its thickness. Right? We studied this in first session, if you remember. If not, I'm repeating. The first parameter is your source image. I have written down as well. You can go through. Second is your start point. Next, your end point. Then the color, and then its thickness. I will run the code, display the image, and see what it takes. Bingo. The classifier has perfectly detected the face of the Tony Stark. If you have any doubts till now, you can put in the chat box. I guess that was pretty clear and interesting as well to detect the face. The same process we'll apply for detecting eyes. What I just need to change? I just need to change the classifier. The classifier provided below was just only for the face, which has only the features of the face. Now the classifier with which I need to detect the eyes, I will use eye classifier. It is located in the same link on the GitHub, which went now. You can download this file. It's same. You need to provide the classifier in the code using detect multi-scale function to detect the eyes. Then we have the coordinates. This detect multi-scale function will tell you the coordinates of the face. We have the coordinates. We will use put rectangle function to draw the rectangle around the guys, and we'll display the image. Let's see what it gets. Okay, perfect. We have detected the eyes of the Tony Stark as well. As you can see, the Tony Stark is wearing glasses. That's then two. The classifier has detected very well the eyes of the Tony Stark, the faces as well as the eyes, because I have provided the same image to the eye classifier. So we are done with the face and eye detection using an input image that we have provided. If you have any doubts till now, you can put in the chat box. Otherwise, then we will move to another interesting code. I'll wait for a minute. I guess
Yvonne, if you have any doubts, write in chat box. We are here
it
to
is
just
tilted
explain you
toward.
everything.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. If it actually depends how properly the classifier has been trained. If the classifier has the proper features of the face, like suppose what if we'll see it now, if it detects or not, you will get the answer of your question yourself in the third code that we are going to jump on. If you're providing an input image of a tilted face, then only it will detect yes. How to download the function in Google Colab? What function you are talking about? You're talking about the classifier. Actually, in the Google Colab, it is actually different. OpenCV works in a different way on Google Colab. Then you need to like open the camera as well. You don't only need that CV2.video capture. You need to like write some other codes as well on the Google Colab. That was actually a bit
Okay,
complex. That's why we are working on Jupyter Notebook only. Har Cascade is the
he's
same.
talking about the hard
In the
cascade
same
code
way.
functions.
Yeah, okay. It is the same way as you do how you do to import an image as well. You add the function, you add the image, and similarly you can do this as well. Or you can use this classifier using this function as well in the Google Colab. Perfect. I see no doubts till yet. Okay. Now in the previous code, I had just one face in the input image, right? What if I have multiple faces in the image? Will the code change or will it be the same? It is the same, right? We can try on our own. I have downloaded another image which is team.jpg. We'll see how it goes. The code is almost same. It is 99% same. Okay, so this is your Indian cricket team having 9 faces, 9 players. Again, it is in the BGA format. We'll convert it into RGB. Converting to RGB, we get the original image. Now the detection works on grayscale image. We'll convert it into grayscale. Loading the classifier using detect scale multifunction to know the coordinates. Using cv2.put rectangle function to draw the rectangle around the faces. Displaying the image and see what we get. Okay, perfect. What's the change we get here is it has detected 9 faces, right? You can see that the faces found are 9 and we have a huge list of lists. Why is it so? Because it has 9 faces in the image. The classifier, when it was scanning the image, it saw 9 images. Sorry, it saw 9 faces in the image and it has returned 9 lists which have their respective x, y, w, and h coordinates. And it says we are using a loop here. And in this way, it has put the rectangle around the faces of all the 9 players. Similarly, we'll detect the eyes, loading the classifier for eyes, using detect skill multifunction to get the coordinates, using the coordinates to draw the rectangle, displaying the image, and here we get the eyes as well, very well detected. That the rectangle is very small. I guess it's not very clear to you. We can zoom it and see. Otherwise, we are providing the code. You can yourself run it in your computer and play with it. The code is 90% correct, right? It is not clearly visible as the rectangle is very small. Okay, so the code was same. We have detected multiple faces in our image as well. Now the point comes, right now I have provided only the input image. What if I want to detect faces from live video stream using the video capture function, right? We'll look through it now. That's more interesting from that as well. The code is 80% same. The working is 80% same. Only slight changes are there. Okay. So first is the same process, importing the library CV2, the loading the classifier for faces and eyes. We are all together loading it, right? Now I'm using video capture function to take live stream from my webcam. You have already studied, it takes one parameter, which is 0. That means I want to use the camera of my laptop and not another secondary camera, right? Okay, so till now, what will be when I run the code, I'll see that the camera of my webcam is on, and it will just on, right? Now what I need to do, I need to detect faces in the live stream and eyes as well. Now what happens when I turn on a video actually made up of frames, which are actually still images. In the previous code, what I was doing, I was providing just one image, which was just single frame. Right away, I am on a video, and a video has multiple frames in it, right? For this second, I have this. Suppose if I change here, then this is your second frame. Suppose I am here, so this is your third frame, right? So there are multiple frames in a video. We perform the face detection for each frame in the video. That's why I need to enclose it inside a while loop. I'll use an infinite loop to loop through each video in the frame. And read each frame, to store each frame, I'll use cap.read function. That's a new function. It actually returns two values. First value, which is this success comma image equal to cap.read, which means cap.read returns two values. Which first one is the success, which is actually that the frame was read correctly or not, and the second is what? Second is the frame which was detected at that moment, right? Suppose this is my first moment, so this is my first frame, right? Now again we are in a while loop, right? So again, when I will come to this line, suppose this is my second frame, so this is my second frame. It will store it in img variable and continuously as the loop goes. I'll detect the face using the classifier. The classifier will detect the face using detect multi-scale function. I'll know the coordinates where are my face, then looping over the coordinates to draw the rectangle. So till this point, till this for loop that you can see, I have detected the face and have put the rectangle. Okay. Now what happens now to actually efficient the process, to make it more efficient? What I will do, to the eye classifier, I will provide my face area only, as eyes are located inside the face. That's why to not to confuse the classifier, I will provide my face area to the eye classifier. Okay, now what's the plus point for that? Because the classifier don't need to search here and there. It will just see in my face area only. Now I'll see the face area. Now the face area is your region of interest. Region of interest means the area on which we have to focus. Only that area I will provide. So in this detect multi-scale for eye cascade, for the eye classifier, I am providing only my face area, which is the region of interest. And then the eye classifier will search for the eyes only in my region of interest. It don't need to go here and there on the frame. It will just concentrate on my face area. Using detect multi-scale function, I can get the coordinates. Using rectangle function, I will draw the rectangle around my face and I will display the frame. Now, as we are in a while loop, I need to exit from the loop. What I will do now? I will have to use another function. Can you name that function? We have already studied it. What function we use to break out from the loop, or any guesses you can make? No guesses? Okay, I'll tell you. It is your wait key function. Actually, wait key function is a very actually important function in OpenCV, which displays the frame for a specified milliseconds. What I have done, I have provided 1 2 cv2.wait key. Now, what does that mean? See, my webcam is on. Okay, the classifier has put a rectangle around my face. It has put a rectangle around my eyes as well. Now, what after that? What if I want to break out from the loop? What if I want to close the program? After 1 millisecond, whatever happens after 1 millisecond, if I press Q on my keyboard, I will come out of the loop. That's why the code is written here like this. If cv2.wait key 1, which means after 1 millisecond, and 0xff equal to ordq, which means if after 1 millisecond, if I press Q on my keyboard, I will break out from the loop. That means my program will close. And to actually destroy all the windows, I will use cap.release function. I guess that was pretty clear. I'll run the code, will show you the output, then you will understand it better. Can you run the code, Rituraj?
Yes.
We'll run the code all together, right? As we are using for loop, while loop, if statement again and again. That's why I'll run the code all together. Okay, so hello, Rudraj. The system has detected the face and eyes of the Rituraj from live video stream. Now, if I need to close, I will press, I mean, the Rituraj will press Q on the keyboard and he will come out of the program or out of the loop and we'll exit the program. Okay, so at this moment, we are done with all the concepts of face detection, detecting a single face, detecting multiple faces, detecting using, providing an input image actually, and then live streaming from the video as well. Okay, so at this moment, after this, we will see one of the important applications of face detection that Anish and Rituraj will go through. Over to both of you.
All right, Vanshika. Vanshika, you have explained so well that I think my most concepts are pretty clear now, honestly. All right, guys, here is the main project. We call it driver drowsiness detection, which can be said to be a live demonstration of how AI and computer vision influenced our lives. So before explaining much, next slide, Ritu, please. Yeah, you will come to know about the driver fatigue and all. Okay, before explaining much, I want all of you to listen this short story about my friend. Okay, one of my best friend named Dev Gupta. He is from Meerut, Uttar Pradesh. I don't know why to mention Meerut is important, but yes, he is. He's such a guy who is funny, smart, sarcastic, and very lovely in person to all. However, his stickers may offend you sometimes, but it's okay. More about Dev. Everything is good about him except he's so sleepy person. Apart from being good in football, he is fond of driving. One day he was driving that last night his house was full of guests. He was so tired that he forgot to sleep. Next day he had to travel to Delhi from Meerut to buy new football kits. Now let's see what happened. Play this video. नी दस की कसूर में तो होया तू अखियां तो दूर में तो होया नी दिल मजबूर क्यों होया एक बारी दस दे जरा दिल वाले पुछदे ने चा एक बारी दस दे जरा दिल वाले पुछदे ने चा After this unforgettable incident, Dave went to doctor and asked him to treat him well so he could not sleep much. Yes, we can say somewhere he was suffering with hypersomnia. You know, hypersomnia is a condition in which people have excessive daytime sleepiness. This means they feel tired during the day. Hypersomnia can also include situations in which a person needs to sleep a lot. You know, doctor treated him, but nothing worked. After 2 months, Dev Gupta became the first person of the world who challenged the medical science. Thousands of doctors gathered together to solve Dev Gupta cases. Day by day, he became the topic of prime time in media coverage. No doctors could help him. Dev was very tense. And then he called me. Yes, being an AI engineer, I made a project for him, which I want to share with you. Here, a look to this another video, guys.
Guys, the
Now,
video
Dev
is
is perfect.
important, don't ignore.
Yeah. Now, Dev is perfectly fine. Whenever he sleeps, the drowsiness system of his car, which I installed for free of cost, alert him. He's doing so well now. You know, guys, one day I called him and he was right in the car. I asked he must be driving, but he said no. Guys, can you guess what he is doing in car if he's not driving? Anyone, please write in chat box. Yaar, jaldi jaldi likho. What else he could do if he's not driving? Then for what he went inside the car? For your chats, I have to see my mobile phone. Just a minute. Okay, guys. Can you guess that what he's doing? I'm repeating that one day I called Dev Gupta and he said that he's in car but he's not driving. What else he could do here? All right, guys, you people are not good in guessing, so let me give my answer. Actually, he was preparing for semester examination. He said me that Anish, it's a good idea. If I'm feeling asleep, this drowsiness system keep me awake. Damn, I wonder in how many ways I helped my friends. So guys, if you also want to help your friends, then just wait. Very shortly, I will tell you how you can make this model. Are you excited?
What happened,
All
guys?
right.
You you are involved only
Guys,
in
are
the
you
video.
excited for this?
Please type in chat as well.
Damn, he's trying to sleep right now.
Okay, cool, no issues. We can guess that the people are very excited to know.
Yeah. So next slide, please. All right, Vanshika.
Yeah. So this slide shows various accidents which are caused by the drowsiness. Many people have felt asleep across the world while driving, just because the reason could be so many that they would have been driving since long. Then we have to travel from one city to another. The reasons can be so many. So there comes the need to develop a system which actually detects the fatigue and drowsiness of the driver and will play an alarm. Next slide, please. As the description given, as I just now said, to detect the fatigue or a drowsy driver and alert the driver using an alarm. We'll see how it goes. Next slide.
All right, guys. Already explained by Vanshika eye blinking, but also I want to just put some more attention to you. Okay, before going directly to our project, I want to understand things in fold. First, I've explained about the eye blinking techniques. All of you know what is a line segment. Very basic example I'm taking. Please pay attention, guys. All of you know what is line segment? Yeah. If I say if the length of the line segment is zero, then what it signifies? Anyone? If I say the length of the line segment is zero, then what it signifies? Vanshika, let me know if someone is writing something or not because I have to switch phone for this. I don't know what
Yeah, sure.
happens in my laptop. Yeah. If I say the length of any line segment in zero, then what it signifies? Is that a point or not? Now answer in true, false, yes or no. Is that a point or not?
What happened, guys? We all are 12th passed. What happened? Yes.
Okay, it's a point, right? Okay, can I say it can be a 2 point also? Two coincident points. Okay, just basic concept, guys, basic mathematics. Now think about your eyes. Suppose there are 6 points in your eyes all around. Let's P1 be the point at the middle of your eyebrow and P2 be the point just below your eyes. Let's suppose distance between P1 and P2 is something 2 millimeter. I don't know, it may be less than 2 millimeter. I'm sorry. Okay, anyway, and when we close our eyes, then these 2 points coincide. The distance of the 2 points become what? When 2 points coincide, then the distance between them became zero, right? Yeah, it became zero, exactly zero. So we made a function in which we call an alarm sound when distance between these points two becomes zero. Very basic concept of eye blinking detection inspired from this idea only. But the question is, at what extent engineers use this technique? Unfortunately, nowadays, this technique is not being used much. They use simple data set of closed eyes, like they have billions possible of closed eye pictures in their data set. Things will be more clear to you now. Wait, if there is any doubt in, no, yeah. If there will be any doubt, please ask, guys. What I'm saying, there are two methods of eye blinking detection. First one is the P1 and P2, and the second method is that what Panchika told, or we can just directly implement from a data set. Suppose we are putting the images of closed eyes in our data set, then also from that classifier can detect, yes, it's a closed eyes. But all these ideas, what I am trying to say, but all these ideas are inspired from only the simple mathematics concept, that P1 and P2. Okay. Okay, in this we are going to discuss object detection with HAR cascade. We will do face and eye detection to start, already done by Vanshika. No need to explain once more. But in order to do object recognition or detection with cascade files, you know what we have to do. We have to first cascade files for the, suppose you have to do some extremely popular task, which then they may already exist. Like suppose you want to detect faces, cars, smiles, eyes, or anything. You know the license plates also we in Singapore or in many countries, they are just they detect the license plate of the vehicles. Then they are using what? They are using data set of those numbers. Okay. All right, guys. Now back. Jitas, please can you switch to code part? Yeah, just a second. Uh, Screen is visible or not visible to me? All right,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
visible.
yes.
Okay.
It's visible, no?
Yeah, it's visible. So guys, you can see in import numpy, pygame, these are so you are already know these types of libraries. Now we have made a function called alert. The work of alert is nothing but to play alarm. Yeah, Rituraj, can you scroll down? These all are the same concept, guys. First we will, first we will detect a rectangle in a face, then we will detect the eyes. Okay, I have a question. Is that possible that we can detect directly eyes without detecting rectangle? I guess Vanshika has already given this answer in her session, because I was not knowing that that she will say. But okay, guys, let's see who was more attentive. Is that possible that we can detect directly eyes without detecting face? Is that possible? Yeah, is someone writing something? All right.
Come on, guys, answer it. You can get this question in your quiz as well.
Yeah, you people are just. It means that Vanshika has not explained well. Okay, someone said something.
Someone replied yes.
Okay. Is it necessary right now? Without targeting face, we cannot go directly to detect eyes. Okay. Suppose me and Vashika is standing just near the camera, and suppose suppose it's starting detecting eyes. Then what will happen? It may detect right eye is mine and left eye is Vanshika. है ना? ये भी हो सकता है. So it's really so for that we have to first detect our face. Okay. Or Rituraj, I request you to please run the code because most of things has already been explained. Yeah, guys, you can see now. Just close your eyes. Guys, you can see when he's closing his eyes, then the alarm plays a consistent sound. So you can just predict here what's happening. What's happening here? How when he's closing his eyes, then the alarm plays a consistent sound beep 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 beep. Okay. That the same thing explained by us throughout the session, that when you can understand this again by these two concepts, one concept of P1 and P2 and the other concept of what? The data set. Okay. Now back to PPT, Rituraj. Next slide. Okay, guys, so here our main project is that, and now I'm just swimming into the project. We have made buttons by using a TK interfile, open camera and capture image, face detection, eye detection, detect eye blinks and check if the person is drowsy, play alarms if detect drowsy. Okay. Whatever so far we have learned in this session, we are implementing into a single project. Okay. Very shortly, I will share you code. Just wait a second. Yeah, Ritvaz, you can switch to code now. I guess everything was. Yeah, switch to the code of the driver drowsiness. Okay, guys, this code is 179 or 180 lines, so it is very hard to explain line by line. But overall, I am explaining what's happening here. We have just used one more library that is called tkinter, that is a part of Python, to just make buttons, right? And the whole other concept is just explained by Vanshika, me, and Rituraj. That we are first simple step. First, we are detecting face, then we are detecting eyes. If the eyes is closed, we are playing alarm. I repeat, first we are detecting face, then we are detecting eyes. If eye is closed, then we are playing alarm. Okay. Now please scroll down the code so people can have an overview of that. Yeah, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Yeah, we have defined so many functions here. Just recall one by one. You will come to know why we have defined this. Now I request you to please run this code. Okay, guys, here you can see a very beautiful interface of drowsiness system has opened just near to your screen. First button is called open camera. Second is recording, detect face, detect and record, detect eye blink and play alarm, and very important, exit. Okay, we will just click on one by one to all this. Now, please open camera. You can see it will directly open the camera and the handsome Rituraj is on your screen. Okay, guys, press Q. We have to always press Q. Remember, you don't have to cross it because loop se bahar aana hai. All right. Vanshika has already explained. We have to press Q for that. Yeah, please click on recording. Guys, what happened here that the video is the camera is starting capturing video and the recording is being saved in the same directory where the code is. Yeah, he will show you. Look, sample one dot. What's that?
.avi.
Okay,
Yes,
here
yes.
is the yeah. Here is the video saved right now. Okay, next button. Detect face. Already done by Vanshika. The same thing we have. I'm saying that I'm just merging all concepts into a single code. Here it will detect face. That's it. Detect and record. Press on it. It will detect the face and it will also record the Rituraj face. And it will save in the same directory where your code is. Now here is the main code. Detect eye blink and play alarm, which is the main. This is all what Deep Gupta needed. Okay, close your eyes. Yeah. Okay, guys, I guess I made my point pretty clear. If you have any doubt regarding this drowsiness system, you can ask us. If you have any doubt in our flow, like if you think that we have not explained or we missed something, then please let us know. Okay, write in chat box, guys. We are waiting. Yeah, here is the same thing we just put in PPT. Next slide. Yeah, we just explained that is the another matter of how eye aspect ratio, how it calculates. You can see the P2, P3, P4, P5, and when the yeah, there is a very famous formula or very famous derivation. It comes from maths at P2 minus P6 plus P3 minus P5 upon twice of P1 minus P4. This is the eye aspect ratio. Actually, it it sets some threshold value. Suppose if says some people are like that. Can you see my eyes? They sleep like this, half eye closed. Then what about them? Someone sleep, yeah, like there are so many people. Okay, so we have to set a threshold value. It's not necessary always that if the EAR value will be 0, then only alarm will be played. We have to set some threshold value. Okay. अब किसी को देखो तो ऐसा लगता है वो हमेशा ही सोया हुआ है तो उसके लिए तो मशीन मतलब थोड़ा इशू होगा ना तो फॉर दैट all right guys next slide all right over to Rituraj he will tell you about advanced.
Okay, so Anish has created a very good system for there now. So like you guys also can use it for studying for your exams as well. Now, face detection has gone through a lot of advancement in the last decade. Deploying such a system is a very cost efficient as it applies to just an additional installation of a software on top of the camera. Also, face detection has evolved to have a very high accuracy. Thus, it helps in creating high security wherever necessary. Face detection software can be used in aircrafts as well. Along with aircrafts, British Airways in last year, I guess, they had allowed 240 customers to verify themselves and get boarded in a mean time of about 10 minutes without any massive queuing. That was a great achievement by British Airways. Another important use of this software would be by sending the driver's location to emergency contacts if any mishap happens while driving, like driver being drowsy or many other possibilities. Detecting if a person has consumed more alcohol by noticing if they have become tipsy or something, which can again give an alert to emergency contacts, that can again be one of the application of face detection. Along with face detection, the addition of some programs, it can help predict rash driving rather than just detecting drowsiness. Adding hybrid controllers for a vehicle that consists of alcohol detectors and in turn won't allow to start the car if the driver has consumed more alcohol. So these were about the advancements, and from our side, over to the narrators.
All right, guys, if you have any doubts, then please write in chat box. And please be, you can, you know what, can be, can speak anything, okay? There is no issue. जैसे जो डाउट है वो पूछो, अगर कोई भी दिक्कत है कहीं भी explain. If you want us to explain once again, we are ready for this, okay?
Yeah, we'll provide the
Yeah, so
code.
please let
We'll
us
provide
know
the link of
where you
GitHub
have,
soon on the chat box.
yeah,
And you need to answer the quiz as well to grab your prizes, to see your name first on the leaderboard. So be ready for that. Till that, you can ask any doubt.
yes, guys, all right. There is one quiz for you. You can give it right now. Okay, we are just, yeah. Can you name some hardware to upgrade the project? All right. Some hardware, like what you want to just implement our project into that. Yeah, that's a very interesting question. That how will you, kya matlab, what we will going to keep our laptop in these vehicles, or we have to do something. We have to connect this with hardware. Okay, very nice question. So for this answer is that we have a device called Raspberry Pi. Okay, what it do? It just connect the hardware to software. So we will in future use this. We have estimated also cost of that. It will maybe Indian rupees 1200, and it can be done very easily. We need just a camera, and we can connect with a car's speaker or vehicle's speaker. Okay, and just the device that we call Raspberry Pi, which can be controlled from our phone, mobile phone. Any more doubt, guys? Yeah, magic function. Okay, magic function are basically used to execute special tasks like in the
Yeah,
previous
the
project.
student in the beginning of the session asked about the magic function. We have put in the chat box. You can see there's a very good explanation from Ayushri, the speaker of the last session.
Yeah. Yes, guys, you can see about the magic function. Guys, any doubt? Please ask, or should we begin the quiz? A link will be provided to you. It's up to you. You have to do.
You can give
Yeah,
a feedback as well. Like
yeah.
how did you understand? How much did you understand? Did you enjoy the session first of all?
Where I was boring, where I was sarcastic, where I was funny. Please let us know. Okay. Actually, not I. We. Otherwise, my co-speakers will kill me.
Yeah, the primary motive of the session was to learn. Was another thing to enjoy as well, to enjoy learning. So, what was the feedback?
Video was OP. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Sarang. He just provided me the video. I just put
A
music
great
in.
session, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Explanation. Yeah, thanks.
It's all about you.
Your comments.
Okay, okay. Also, Vanshika, please provide link of the quiz in chat box.
Yeah.
I guess now our work is done. Over to narrators. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
If you have any doubts, you can put in the chat section. We'll take after the session. We'll reply to you.
Yeah, you can
Or
contact us.
yeah, I'm providing the link of the GitHub and the quiz.
All right then. Firstly, a massive thank you to all the speakers who enlightened the students and graced us with their presence in these busy routines. We'd like to thank all the faculty members who entrusted their belief and blessed us with this opportunity to conduct this session. This session wouldn't have been possible without the coordination of all the team leads and the student coordinators of the team. Once again, I would like to thank everyone for participating in this session, and we look forward to your presence in the club in the future. Thank you one, thank you all. You can find the link to the quiz and the GitHub on the chat of Microsoft Teams. And thank you once again. You may leave the meeting.
So here's the link of the quiz that you're gonna answer now to come up on the leaderboard to get your prizes. Hope you're excited for that. Answer well.
Okay, guys, all the best for the quiz. Bye bye and take care and stay safe. All right. Thank you so much, Nirlav, and thank you so much, Arena. You guys were awesome.
Yeah, thank you, narrators. Thank you, attendees, for listening us, for joining us, and be like interactive with us. Thank you so much for that. I'm just providing the link of GitHub. No, one sec. There's a small issue.
Can the attendees open the cameras for a group photo of sorts?
Yeah, yes. I just forget it.
Yeah.
So here's the link of your GitHub. You can get the code here. You can run the code on your system. If you get any problem, like if it's not running, you can put in the chat. We'll see. And yeah, you can play with the code. You can explore more. I'll really encourage you to explore this field more and more. It's very interesting. And yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you all. Answered the quiz well. All the best. Keep learning and stay tuned. Bye bye.
Bye bye, guys.